one. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the amazing JOYELY Jane Johnson on our show today. And I'm so excited to learn more about you, Jane. You have no idea.
No, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So do you like my chair? You said you saw it on some of the videos. So.
I love your chair. It's beautiful. I would come check it out if I saw it sitting somewhere.
Yes. So that is the goal after the pandemic and the global crisis is eased up a bit, is to take the chair out where it's supposed to be, which is, you know, at events and yoga studios and all across the nation, so people can sit in and enjoy it. It's really about centering, being quiet. The answers are inside. We don't have to run around the world and look for what it is that we already know in our heart. So anyway, thank you for being here. So my first question to you is, what is joy for you? Just a phenomenal name, JOYELY Jane. And so it must have a lot of deep meaning for you. Please share.
Right. Well, I decided to start my Instagram and my blog. Had a lot of conversations with my 2 adult daughters about it. And we decided that Joyfully Jane, number one, sounded kind of fun and interesting, but also I've spent a lifetime trying to find the joy in my life. Had a lot of happiness, but sometimes didn't feel the joy, and really have done a good job of finding that place inside where that joy is. And it's helped me get through a lot of tough stuff. And I just thought it was a great title for my life and what I want to put out there into the universe.
Well, which is exactly why we're calling you an influencer of joy today, because exactly what you said, people need to spend more time and energy on not just feel good and not just don't worry, be happy, because that's not what it's about. It's this deep level and sustainability of joy. So can you give me an example or two of, I don't know, how you knew that this was your namesake and that you were going to be sharing more about joy?
Okay. So as far as, I mean, I like to say a lot of people equate joy and happiness, and I think they're 2 totally different things. Happiness is an external factor that happens to you. Your grandchild runs to you and gives you a big hug and a kiss. That's pure happiness. You get a promotion at work, pure happiness. But joy is in here. Joy is about peace and calm, and it doesn't leave you. Like happiness is fleeting, where joy really is not. And I think once you can tap into that joy inside, it's life-changing. I have been through number of things in my life that if I had not been able to tap into that joy, it would have been really hard to overcome. So for me, it's about your own survival, and it's about being who you are meant to be and taking the time to sit in that and be intentional with that.
So when you say you've gone through some things to get to this place, can you share any of that with us?
I can share a little bit of it. So I'll share a really simple story. As we all know, I'm in my 50s. I make that very clear. So about 5 years ago, the company I was working for was a large corporation, and they decided to lay off everybody in my department. No matter how long you'd been there, what your job title was, they just were downsizing. So I left very discouraged. I'm like, I'm in my early 50s. I'm never going to get rehired. You know how people tell you all that with ageism and whatnot. So I spent a week having a pity party for myself, feeling terrible and dwelling on every bad thing that was going to happen because I didn't have a job. And somehow one day I just kind of said to myself, this is getting you nowhere. And so I tapped into that place, that joy. And I really started to feel peace and calm because I started concentrating on the good things that I had and the positivity in my life and the factors that could help me move on instead of concentrating and focusing on the bad part. So to me, I have a 3-step process. I always tell people if you're looking for your joy, and one of them is focusing on what's good in your life instead of what's bad in your life. So that's just a little simple one. Also been through a divorce where being able to tap into that was hugely important. Took me a little bit longer than a week to tap into it at that point. I really think that was one of the turning points for me. And so that was about 15 years ago where I really found that inside me. And ever since that point, I've been able to tap into that when I needed to.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you really recognize, based on all the things that I see on your Instagram, like you can just sit down on the floor and not have, nothing going on. And it just feels like pure joy, like it's super in the moment for you.
Right, exactly. I'm very much that way. And I can find the joy in, like today, I think I put a quote up about finding the joy in the ordinary on my stories. And I think that's important. You can find the joy anywhere in anything if you know where to look for it. But instead of looking out externally for all that, it's about looking in here and finding it.
So obviously you've been watching our videos and you know that we're talking about the find, being, and sharing of joy, which is exactly what you're doing, like hands down. So you found your joy, which is basically finding your joy. To me, I feel like that's your joy, right? And then so you're being your joy by being in your amazing Instagram. Tell me what else you're doing. What's going on that you're being your joy every day, all day long?
I just try to influence people where I can, whether it's at my job or my family. I have 2 adult daughters and 2 son-in-laws and 2 grandchildren, and I even try to work with them about what's important and taking the time for yourself and to just kind of be instead of doing all the time, but just kind of be and sit in that and be intentional in that and how important that is for your own self-care and also finding that place of joy and calm. Because I do think joy has a lot to do with calm and peace and hope as well.
Yeah. So what about the world? Is there something in the world that you would like to do, have that maybe you haven't done yet, or that you're already doing, sharing
Well,
wise?
actually now I'm getting ready to start a training to be a sexual assault advocate in my county. I did it for a while in a county I lived in when I was in Pennsylvania, and moving here, a new job, new place, I just didn't get active, but I've been active with the organization for a while. And now I'm ready to go through the training so that I can kind of be alongside people that obviously aren't in a place where it's easy for them to tap into joy and finding any good in what they're living in. So I'm hoping that I can be some sense of positivity for them and bring some sense of joy back for them. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And I can tell that that even just a tiny bit will make all the difference in the world. So
It does. It really does.
that's
Got to
amazing.
start somewhere.
Yeah. So where are you in the training? Did you say you're just starting the class?
Well, we were supposed to start in February, but now, with everything that was starting, or March, I'm sorry, with everything that was starting, they decided they'd wait. So it's probably they're probably moving it to this summer. So it is like about a 3-4 month process of training. So I'll do that in the evenings and on weekends because I do work full time.
Got it. Now, what is your job now?
I work in technology sales for
Okay,
a very large corporation.
very
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm working from home now, but I mean, I can do it from home just as easily at the office, so it's working fine.
So tell me about this makeup thing a little bit. You and I are going to have a conversation offline, but you went to Walgreens and you said these are some of the things that you should buy. Why is it
Yeah.
that you're
Some people who follow me on Instagram have seen my daughter kind of did a story takeover one day for me. My youngest daughter is a makeup artist by trade. She has her own little company. And so she has gotten me into more of paying attention to skincare and makeup. And she's always, yelling at me because I, was using makeup wipes and she tells me that's bad and all that. But anyway, so I've been really trying to shop because I know a lot of times people don't want to spend $60 on a foundation. They want to know what they could get maybe at Walgreens or CVS or Walmart or somewhere like that. So I've been trying to also show people great brands for less money that kind of can equate and do the same thing as the more expensive brands. So
That's very kind of you. My goodness. So what would you like to say, Miss Joyely Jane, to anyone that's listening that maybe is not feeling their joy in the pandemic? Is there any words of advice?
Well, like I said, I think my 3-step process is always the first thing you do is sit down and you count your blessings because we all have more blessings than we realize. When we start counting them, we're like, wow, we are really blessed, So that's my first step. My second step is to, like I said earlier, it goes kind of hand in hand, is focus on what is good instead of focusing on what is bad. We can all focus on being stuck in the house and not being able to hug our grandchildren and not being able to go to an office or go to the movies or go to a restaurant. But, focus on what's good. We have our health and we have a house to be sitting in and people are going to get well and we're going to get out sooner if we stay home. So, that's really important as well. And just instead of doing, being. We all are doing, trying to make ourselves happy. and we just need to be, just sit in it, sit by yourself, just kind of be, and then you'll find your joy.
Yeah. I ask everyone always to go find a chair somewhere in your house that you just can call your own and just be,
Yeah,
the running around and, 17 trips to the grocery store a week. I mean, it's just planning, a little planning and preparation and less, less or not volunteering, but
right.
less things you have to do, all
Right,
the,
and I think as women, we tend to just do. That's just who we are.
yeah,
Do for everybody else, and we don't think about doing for ourselves. And doing for ourselves is just being.
yeah. Well, thank you for being an influencer of joy on my show today, and
Thank you.
continue on your amazing journey of joy. It's just
Thank
absolutely
you.
beautiful. And hopefully our roads will collide many times in the future.
I hope so. If you bring that chair down to Dallas Fort Worth, I'll be the first one there to sit in it.
You darn right I will. You darn right. All right, my dear, you have a fabulous, joyful day, and we'll talk to you soon.